Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a coach and a trance channel, and welcome back to my series called Spirit School. This is a super simple series, but so much fun. I invite forward the spirit guides every single week to teach us something new, just like we're back in school and learning for the first time. And my only intention for this series is that I just want to be intrigued. I absolutely love learning new things. I'm a deeply curious person, and having this connection to my highest self and my spirit team has allowed me to explore all of the questions that I've always had growing up that I didn't have any answers to. And I've gotten so much satisfaction out of those conversations that I really wanted to invite you in to have them with us. And so every single week, I just ask them to teach me something new, something that I would find fascinating and curious, and something that I don't have a frame of reference for or that I've never given much thought to. And the way it works is I close my eyes, I tune in, and I see what they want to say. And they start with a very simple, usually an image of some sort, and then it builds on itself. And then we go from there. And before I get started, I just want to offer you an opportunity to ask your own questions. If there's something that you've always been deeply curious about, or wondered about, or you've heard mixed information around and you'd like to explore in a full episode, let me know. Comment below or message me on social media at Amanda Lauren Blau on TikTok and Instagram. And we can ask the guides and we can turn it into a whole episode. And it can be completely anonymous too. So no one has to know it's coming from you, but that'll give us an opportunity as a community to open up to our own curiosity and give us permission to ask ourselves why and explore these concepts together. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to tune into the guides and I'm going to see what they want to share with us today. Just give me a second. Okay, they're starting with an image of an infant in one of those swing sets. So it's kind of like they're in the bassinet and they're just gently being rocked back and forth, just like a soothing experience for the baby to calm them to sleep and get them to be relaxed. And it's just this visual of this baby in this bassinet being gently rocked back and forth as it's sleeping, and the love of the parents. I'm seeing a mother and father, parental figure there. I feel like the focus is mainly on the mother, but next to the child, just like comforting the child, soothing the child, and just feeling this devotion and love for this new addition to their family. And there's also a feeling of anxiousness on behalf of the parents of this child in the room, doubts and fears of not being good enough, not knowing how to give this child everything that it's going to need, or failing this child in some way, or doing something wrong and getting something wrong. There's so much fear inside of not doing a good job and wanting to provide the best possible future for this baby. It's like this baby has become an exemplification of the deepest love that they can possibly feel inside of them, and also the deepest fear. And it's this combination of mixed emotions just being expressed in the moment, and with or without realizing it, this child represents all of those things for for the parents in this visual. All of the deepest love and the deepest fear that lives inside of them is evoked through the idea and the presence of this child. And I'm just seeing this now from the perspective of the child, where there's this little infant being rocked back in sleep in its bassinet, and it feels all of this from the parents. It feels this intense love and also so much fear. And it knows that it is the one that is evoking this, that it is the one that is responsible for these extreme emotional experiences or belief systems in its parents. And it wants so badly to protect its parents. It doesn't want its parents to worry so much. And it kind of takes on this sense of personal responsibility, one, that it's responsible for all of these mixed emotions, and two, wanting to reassure its parents that it's okay, it's going to be okay. Where are you going with this? So the spirit guides are just showing you that this is how your life begins inside of this reality. And it doesn't necessarily take place exactly like this. This is just one example. But even as an infant, when you're in your crib, you are feeling all of these emotions being expressed from the people around you. And just because you don't have a conscious awareness of language and your brain hasn't evolved and adapted in a way that it can understand complex dynamics or emotions, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an understanding of what it's feeling, because it does. It's feeling things and it's interpreting them. How is it interpreting them? And the way that it's taught to by the ones that are um, projecting those feelings onto it. So it's simply feeling those feelings from the people around it and then taking on the belief systems of where those feelings are coming from and kind of projecting them back in the same way. So it's mirroring the thoughts and feelings that it's feeling in the way that that it's feeling them, if that makes sense. There is no thought or belief system that's available to it that that what? That it doesn't have the frame of reference for yet. So it's only taking on what's in its vicinity. And then it's only once it begins to has the child gets older and it has experiences outside of this parental unit that it begins to take on more, and its thoughts and ideas become more complex. And as its brain develops, it can understand more complex concepts, but it's only through what it's exposed to. And so at this in within the frame of the within the frame of reference of this particular image, they're just showing us that it's taking on thoughts and feelings of those that it's in contact with. And right now it's just the people that it knows and that it's surrounded by, which are the immediate parents. And that is what's creating its worldview. Okay, where are you going with this? What else would you like us to know? And so now they're just want you to reflect on everything that you believe that you know to be true, where those belief systems come from. Where did you pick them up? How did you um, how did you filter them? And how did you choose the ones that you decided to hold on to versus the ones that you decided to release and let go of? And they're saying that what? They're just showing like a sieve, like a filtration system that's constantly taking place that creates the evolution of your sense of self and identity. It's this constant taking in of information, siphoning it, and picking and choosing what you want to take with you and what you want to let go of. And this process is constantly ongoing. So you are constantly, without realizing it, it's all taking place in the back of your mind, but you're constantly filtering information and evaluating and reevaluating what you believe and who you believe that you are amidst it all. Okay, what else? And they're just showing now that we all do this individually and as a collective. And this constant taking in of information, releasing of information, and siphoning of information is is what? Is source doing the same thing. It is source witnessing itself in all of these different ways and choosing through you and through all of us to experience itself in an infinite number of ways. Okay. They're just showing like someone sitting and looking at 100 different TVs on the wall, and the 100 different TVs are showing each individual person on the planet going through their day-to-day life, and Source is just like observing all of it. Okay. And they're saying that inside of this spiritual journey that we're all on, that we have this like understanding or belief system that we are supposed to identify more with source than with our own experience of ourselves. And they're saying, like, there's this um, understanding that we've picked up along the way that we're supposed to be shedding our sense of identity until we can experience sourceness through us, source consciousness. And that once we can do that, it's like the ascension process. It's how we can elevate our consciousness and sense of self so that we're less identified with our human perspective and reality and more identified with something greater than that or beyond that, that transcends that. That we can be as sources, just experiencing ourselves rather than being the ones observing ourselves, rather than being the ones like in the experience, in the singular experience. Okay. What else do you want us to know about this? This desire to transcend this reality and who you are and who you believe that you are is is one of the belief systems that you took on and siphoned down and chose to identify with. And they want you to begin to call that into question, just like you call into question every other belief system that you've siphoned. Okay, tell us more. Because this belief system, choosing to believe that you're supposed to be shedding your human sense of self and identity to transcend it and become something that you perceive to be greater than that or beyond that or above that, um, is constantly undermining your own sense of self-worth and power. Okay. What else do you want us to know about this? They're saying the power source that keeps this whole thing going is your desire to have this experience of you and to feel like you're supposed to be transcending out of it, ascending out of it, is misinterpreting the goal in coming here, which is what? To have this singular physical identity and sense of self. Okay. Why are you teaching us this today? Why is this the focus today? They're saying because there's so many of us that don't desire to be here anymore, that we perceive this physical world and this physical reality as like less than or not worth experiencing or something that we're supposed to transcend out of or ascend out of or evolve past. And that's just coming from a belief system that who you are as you are right now is not worth experiencing. It's not the point of the entire endeavor, and that you yourself are kind of worthless or meaningless or without greater purpose and something to be rejected. And they want you to question that and also consider that that is just another perspective that you perceived somewhere that you took on, you siphoned down and decided to hold on to, but it's a through line that is linked to another belief system that you've also siphoned down and are continue to hold on to, which is that what? You are not worthwhile. You are not enough. You are not great. You are not source yet. You are not source yet. You must become. There's like this belief system of becoming and not being. They're saying that all the belief systems that you have siphoned down and are holding on to, they all have some sort of link, linking them amongst each other. And that's why you have chosen to keep them versus release them, is because it satisfies a deeper understanding or a deeper knowing, which is that what? You don't belong here. Wow. Can you expand on that, please? You don't feel welcome here. You don't feel a part of something here. You feel ostracized here. You feel alone here. And that is simply because that's how you felt when you were born, experiencing all of these intense emotions from the people around you that you felt responsible for. And there's a part of you that is still feeling that way, that you were the reason for their pain and their suffering. Because once you entered into their world, you you were on this receiving end of all of this fear that you were evoking from within them. And you made yourself feel like you were responsible for that. And there was this weird burden that you carry as a byproduct of that. This is like very unconscious stuff that they're shining a light on. I've never considered this before. But there's this like burden that you carry because of that. And you feel that this burden that you carry um, is is standing in your way of experiencing the freedom from it. And the freedom from it can't be experienced while you're here. It can only be experienced when you transcend this reality and this human experience for something beyond it, something greater than it. And they're saying that a lot of the conversation inside of the spiritual space that you have interpreted, it's not necessarily what's being said, but it's being interpreted that way, is that you must go beyond it, beyond yourself, transform, transcend. And in doing that, that's where you're going to experience the unconditional love and embodiment and peace and acceptance that you're craving. What else do you want us to know about this? They're saying the path to what it is that you believe the spiritual space is going to offer you isn't down that road. Okay. What else would you like to say about that? What road is it down? It's down the road of choosing to believe that what you're searching for is already here and feeling enoughness inside of you in order to access it. That there is no part of you that's going to access it in a different reality because you're choosing not to. So you're going to ascend out of this reality into another reality and perceive it to be in a reality above and beyond that. And that belief system that it's never here and it's always there will continue to follow you. And they're saying that it has followed you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and you're still holding on to it. It has been a manifestation of a belief system that you have chosen to carry until you could finally fucking see it. And they're saying it's time. It's time to give it to you. You're not going to receive it from something else, from somewhere else, from someone else. You're going to give it to you when you're ready to choose it and to receive it and to feel it and to be it in the now moment inside of who you are now. And they're saying that that is ascension itself. You're not going anywhere outside of you. You're feeling safe to be in the here and now within who you are now. Okay, where are you going with this? Why is it important for us to know this today? They're saying that there's a lot of fear being evoked and expressed inside of this spiritual language that they want you to begin to observe, that the people around you that are preaching to you and at you are simply coming from their own siphoned belief systems. And it's up to you to begin to pick and choose more wisely, they're saying. Okay. Anything else you want us to know about this? Yeah, I do. They're recognizing that I'm like playing around with some questions in my mind because I'm taking I'm a little taken off guard by this conversation. It just seems very like direct in a way that I'm not used to, like firm. Um, where do you want to go from here? Because I'm not really sure what I want to ask you about this because I'm just a little bit surprised. What do you want us to know about this? They're saying it's time to feel inside of you rather than seeking inside of another, taking in all of this information from people who don't know better than you, who claim to. But ultimately, your source of power in terms of your ability to feel what's true and what's right has to come from within you. It's time to trust your own judgment. It's time to feel your own misgivings. They're saying that they're feeling it from you, that there's some disconnect that you've been feeling with some of the messages you're receiving, but you haven't been either fully aware of it or willing to really confront it. And they want you to begin to question things, just like you learn to do with everything else. Question everything, be curious. Continue to siphon information and take on what feels right, but then don't stop there. Have it be a continuous, ever-evolving process of siphoning information. Okay. Why though? Because they're saying because this forces you to constantly question and reflect on what feels true for you. And ultimately, underneath it all, what you're searching for inside of this process of searching is to feel whole. But that wholeness is going to come from figuring out where it comes from, which is simply choosing to allow yourself to feel it. And so you're looking for some like key or pathway towards ascension and transformation. And they're saying that you keep foreseeing it in terms of like acquiring some form of ability or knowledge. And they're saying that that's a distraction. It's another belief system that there's something that you don't possess that you need to acquire and go searching for outside of you. Okay. And it doesn't feel comfortable to believe that you don't need it, that it's already here. And they're underlying that this is exactly what they're trying to show you is the message inside of all of these spiritual teachings is that it's not something that can be acquired because it's already here. And so the more you go searching and looking, it's going to drive you insane because you're never going to be satisfied. So it's time to lay down the sword, they're saying, and get comfortable feeling all of the doubt that you don't need anything else, that there's nothing else that you must do or learn or acquire or teach other than feeling comfortable inside of who you are and all of the things about yourself that you don't like, allowing those things to be present and questioned. Just okay, this is what they're saying. You take on all of this information, you siphon it down, and you choose the belief systems that feel true for you. But why don't you do that with your belief systems about you? All of these negative thoughts that you have about you, why don't you do the same thing with those? Why don't you question them and siphon them and see how much truth there is to them? And they're saying that process right there is exactly what's needed. That is what you've been searching for, but you keep searching for it in all of these other things and all of these other ways. And it was never about something else. It was about your belief systems about you and continuing to siphon them and question them. And if you can do that enough, you'll get down to the final grain of truth, which is that you are wholeness already. You are love embodied already. You are enough already. And all that's required is believing that, like fully feeling that. And when you can do that, then what? Then what? Then you can experience yourself and this human reality as source experiences it which is without question, they're saying, without doubt, without lacking, without questioning anymore. They're saying ultimately that's what you're searching for is to feel the sense of like embodied knowing and certainty and ease and some sort of like frequency that you're trying to attain, but it's coming from a belief system that it's not alive within you already. And it's simply questioning and siphoning those belief system. That's what's required. I didn't expect this today. Anything else? Anything else you want to share today? Yeah, they're focusing on the how, like that they can feel you asking, okay, but how? How do I do that? And they're saying, you know how to do that. You've been doing it your whole life. How do you pick and choose what you believe in and what you don't? And they're saying that you ask questions and you look for evidence. And they want you to start looking for evidence that what you believe about you is true. Where you go looking for evidence, they're saying that you often come to the conclusion that what? That you're right. And so they want you to look for evidence, continue to look for evidence that you're right. But what? But carry doubt where you typically don't. Like there's in certain places of your life, you have no problem doubting, but in certain places of your life, you don't question. And they want you to flip it on its head where you carry doubt, allow yourself to move forward with certainty. And where you carry no doubt, allow yourself to question and see what happens. Just flip it all on its head. And it might feel confusing. You might feel ungrounded and lost for a while. And they're saying, good, you need to feel lost for a while in order to find a new direction to walk. That's what you've been searching for. And they're showing you how. It just feels weird and intangible. Um, and there's a part of you that doesn't feel like it's going to lead anywhere. It's just going to take you in circles and you're just going to feel lost and more lost. And they're saying, well, you're already feeling lost. Otherwise, you wouldn't be searching for something and you haven't found it yet. So why not look in a different direction and question the belief system, siphon the belief system that it's not going to lead you somewhere you've been wanting to go. That's just another belief system that you're carrying that you haven't been siphoning and questioning yet. And they're saying call on them if you ever need help and assistance. Because you don't like to ask for guidance from yourself. You only like to ask for guidance from others that you believe know better. And again, that's another belief system to siphon down and really get curious about how much truth there is within that too. They're saying, does source question its own wisdom, or does it just experience what? Its own willingness to explore. And they're saying that's what they want for you too. All right. Wow. Any final words? They're saying yes, be brave. Ultimately, that's what you're wanting to feel is more self-assuredness, more groundedness, like more of a solid sense of self inside of you. And you have to be willing to feel like your foundation is shaking before you can recognize that the only thing that was shaking it was your own insecurity inside of who you are, that you've been looking for confidence, but it's not going to come from something out there when insecurity is what's seeking it out. The only way to feel confident is to constantly give yourself permission to feel uncertain and be inside of that energy confidently. And you'll begin to find that confidence is created inside of your willingness to question your own hesitancy rather than believing that that hesitancy has merit. Yeah, very fascinating. I would love to hear from you. This message was very clearly for someone specific, not just one person, but a few people specifically. I don't feel like it was specifically for me. I mean, I identify with it a lot, but I know that they're speaking to a few people very specifically with this one. And if it resonates for you, I would love to hear from you. Um, like this video and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to receive more of these. And I really look forward to having this communication with you and being able to explore all of these new concepts with you and with the guides too. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week in our next episode of Spirit School. Bye.